Never stop learning because life never stop teaching. Welcome to Focus on Education on KG Flash with me, Ambassador Jimmy Josh. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Nairobi, Kenya time, and from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monrovia, Liberia town. This program looks into the comparative analysis and appreciation of the education systems of Liberia, Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world with my everyday guests. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are watching. This is a program focused on education. Today, we have our guest who is a Kenyan and live in Nairobi. And our guest is Dennis, right?
Yeah,
Dennis what?
Dennis Onyango Otieno.
So will you telling us who is Dennis?
Uh, Dennis Onyango Otieno is a young Kenyan enthusiastic, a teacher by profession, and a mentor, and also the founder of Brave Tech Kenya, a foundation that transforms lives through sponsorship and mentorship program. Dennis is a peaceful, phlegmatic, introverted person.
Now you talk about teacher. Why did you choose to become a teacher?
I chose to become a teacher based on several circumstances. One is we are shaped by our environment and the people I interacted with. Most of my best friend, close friends, and associates are teachers. So that brought me a motivation. And secondly, I wanted a course that will bring me in touch with the young generation so that I could transform them directly, deal with them directly. So I have a passion for transforming lives, and we can do it at that young stage. So that's what motivated me to be a teacher.
Now you are a teacher, and there are too many struggles with parents not supporting their children in school. Uh, what can you tell parents who are watching you right now in order to support their children education?
Yeah, I would say that most parents do support their children in their schooling, but nevertheless, there are some who don't. And one of the reasons that have come in terms with uh, students raised by parents who never went to school because of one reason or the other reason. So you find that this kind of parents don't value education. So when you don't value it, you do not impart it to your kids. But if you are raised by parents who actually went through the system and have gone through education, they know the value, then they really value it. But what I can advise those who don't support their kids in schooling is it's high time they change because they say education is the key to success. We've never known what the padlock is, but I know education is the key. So let them support them both financially, emotionally, physically. Yeah.
So, if a parent now listen to you and decide to support their children education, sending the child to the school, what do the parent hope to achieve? For example, what are those basic activities that the children gonna go while they are in school?
A good question. A parent is not to benefit so much from schooling a child. It is the child who is going to benefit a lot. Yes, the parent is going to benefit by default. Let's take, for example, I take my kid to school. He or she learns and has a brighter future in the years to come, then supports me and have achieved. But that is not the main reason why I am taking the child to school to support me. No, I am taking him or her to support himself or herself. So my greatest joy should lie in seeing that actually my sons and daughters are getting better in life and they are achieving their visions. So, what is to be gained is by the child himself or herself. Education is not a matter of taking a child to school to get a job. I believe that the main essence of education is to expand somebody's view of things, knowledge, so that you can be able to create your own microenvironment.
Okay, so if a child is on campus, how does the activities on the campus itself work? For example, for primary school, secondary school.
Thank you for that question. It's quite critical because I can't give a direct answer how the schools are run in Kenya. But we have two sets of school, main sets. We have the private schools and the government schools, which run on basically different program. Yes, the government comes with a scheduled work plan, time plan in which the institution needs to be run. But you find that when it comes to the private sectors, they create their own timetabling and so forth and so forth. Basically, education in Kenya in primary school is supposed to start at 8 a.m. That is when the classes are supposed to start officially, known by the government. But you find that other school will start sometime before 8 to do something extra. I respect that because they say that extraordinary people are not born extraordinary. It is the extra thing they do that makes them extraordinary. I appreciate that. But for the consumption of the viewers, the program starts from 8. Lesson is 35 minutes for the primary.
35 minutes
35 minutes
for primary.
for primary. That is the time they're supposed to be taking the lesson. You know, in primary section, this is a period where the student is still growing. Their concentration limit cannot go past that time.
Okay.
So 35 minutes per lesson. Uh, then they have their short breaks, at least 2 breaks before lunchtime. There is a long break where they can take tea or they can do their snacking. And then after lunch, basically the lower primary.
So the question now is that
Yes.
for the primary, they begin class at the 8 o'clock.
At 8.
So by 8:35 there's a break.
By 8:35, there's a next class.
The next class.
Yes.
So how many classes or lesson before a break?
We have 2 lessons.
How many?
2 lessons.
Two before the
lessons
break.
Before the break.
Then the break is what? Is what considered to be recess or lunch?
No, we have a break just to rejuvenate from the 2 classes. Then they
Okay.
come back for
So it
another.
means they have to go outside of the classroom,
Yes.
or they have to remain in the classroom.
No, they go out of the classroom, at least relax, jump up and down
For how long?
for about 20 or 30 minutes.
Then they come back. So
Then they
it's
come
then,
back.
then they have another lesson,
Then they have other sets of lessons.
and then they go for lunch.
Then they go for the second break.
Second break. So how many breaks?
We have 2 breaks.
Okay. Then after that, then classes are also dismissed.
Yeah, now in primary.
So for primary, from 8 in the morning to when? If I have a kid in the class, when do I go on campus to pick them up?
To pick them, it depends if they are in lower primary. Lower primary means from the play group all the way up to grade 3.
Okay.
After there, you can pick them at lunchtime. That is 12:40. That is where they go for lunch. So after going for lunch, the lower primary, they don't have afternoon classes.
Okay. So by 12:30, the parents
Yeah,
take
you
their
can,
children
you
home.
can pick your
12:30.
child. Yes.
So
But if,
from grade 4,
so from grade 4 going up to class 8, that is upper primary.
okay,
After lunch,
okay,
they have other lessons up to 3:10. So
Till
if
3:10?
yeah, up to 3:10. So if you have a kid in upper primary, you pick them at 3:10.
okay. So however, the junior, the one called junior high, and the one called senior high, secondary, junior secondary.
That is under the new enrollment of CBC, which is not yet its full implementation.
So it means that all of them stick to the 3:30.
Yeah, so right now we have 2 curriculums together, that is CBC and 844.
That's what I wanted to ask you concerning because there must be a problem before a change take place. More than 30 years, the 844 have been in use
Yes.
in the education system for Kenya.
Sure.
Now the introduction of the CBC, which is the competent-based curriculum,
Yes.
was introduced I think 2017.
Yes.
Okay, how how efficient and how successful it is right now as we speak.
As I speak from where I stand, it is not successful or efficient.
Okay,
I am a teacher, I'm the one on the ground. So, according to me, where I stand, it's not efficient. One, we rushed into rolling the CBC.
okay.
It was a rushed program. Secondly, it is a very expensive program, CBC. And the infrastructure,
Expensive.
yes, in terms of infrastructure,
Okay,
in
so
terms of
school
its requirements,
administrators.
so you find that the schools are understaffed. Like before you roll such a kind of a new curriculum, you need to train the teachers. You go to most schools right now, teachers are not CBC competent. So the method most teachers are using on the ground is trial and error. But on the other side, the government wants to see it implemented.
Do you think if you say government, it is political, or is someone want to take glory within the Ministry of Education, or there's a there's a benefit? When I say benefit means that in the near distant future, you people who the citizens will appreciate a new system called the CBC curriculum.
We would appreciate it if the infrastructure is laid out.
I was told that there was thorough assessment done before we were even introduced for implementation. How true is this information?
I can't relate without information. It's not true.
Okay,
It
so
is not true.
this the commission brought about the CBC. You say it's expensive. Is that one of the reasons that parents are going against that because
Yes,
of
that is one
how
of the
expensive it is?
yeah, that is the reason why our parents and we teachers as the stakeholders are against it. It is expensive in terms of the materials required. It is expensive in terms of the infrastructure. Like it is a whole set of a technical thing. Each school, at least you require infrastructure like having a computer laboratory, the internet. Most of our schools don't even have electricity. If you look at how the parents are complaining because CBC requires that the parent does the homework with the student. For example, I tell my kid, a child I'm teaching in grade one, go home. Your parents should download this and this and this. Then you watch and then you bring the feedback tomorrow. How many parents do you know in Kenya who don't access smartphones?
No, I think that is a smartphone. Are you telling me parents don't have?
Yes.
But technology is not technology have been integrated, into the world, and it's bad for me to hear that many parents don't even have a smartphone in Kenya. Kenya is a country that everyone wants to come because of technology. Today, the World Health Organization have given the authority that Kenya can produce. Kenya have made a lot of gain, in education, but if you are telling me that parents do not even have a smartphone,
Yes, and there was a narrative when CBC was being rolled that each and every uh, candidate or student enrolling in school should be given those laptops. It was politically driven to gain votes for somebody to become the president. After that, we never saw them. And if you do your research well, most of Kenyans are living below poverty line. So that explains to you why such is difficult.
okay, we're gonna take a short break and be right back. Never stop learning. because left never stop teaching. Welcome to Focus on Education on KG Flash with me, Ambassador Jimmy Josh. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Nairobi, Kenya time, and from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monrovia, Liberia town. This program looks into the comparative analysis and appreciation of the education systems of Liberia, Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world with my everyday guests. Welcome back again. My guest is a teacher, a motivational speaker uh, in Kenya. His name is Dennis. Welcome back, Dennis.
Thank you.
Now you were basically talking before we took a break concerning the CBC curriculum. If I may ask you, which curriculum do you prefer? The 844, the CBC?
I prefer 844 at the moment.
Okay, at the moment. But
But
CBC,
if,
I understood that the CBC is an in-depth of the 844, which brings about the practicality and
yeah,
in order to identify talents.
yes, I'll be fully in support of CBC over 844 when its implementation is done right,
So there's a
when the
challenge.
foundation is laid right.
So there's a
There
challenge.
is a challenge.
So what are some of those challenges faced? Or
Uh,
you could identify as a gap in order for the CBC to be fully implemented?
from my quarter, when I said I had mentioned it earlier, is that implementation of CBC was rushed.
Right.
It was rushed.
So in your own opinion, when do you think that it could have introduced a usage of the CBC curriculum?
The main stakeholder, that is the government, would have laid whatever it takes to roll out the CBC fast, starting from equipping the classroom, training the teachers, which would take quite some time. To me, CBC would take like 5 years to lay down the infrastructure before actually we roll it out.
Okay, so are you trying to tell me that they are basically in the education system right now in Kenya, there are two curriculums that are in use,
Yes.
the CBC and the
And
844.
the 844.
So where does the CBC stop right now?
Right now, we are going to grade 6.
Grade 6.
Yes.
Okay, so you
And
mean
from grade 6 upwards is 844.
844.
Yes.
Okay, so right now, if I have a child in 10th grade, it's difficult for wants to determine the talent of this child because they are not in grade 4 or grade 3.
So let me say this to summarize your question. Right now, we have 844 and CBC. Now, CBC runs from down from the play group up to grade 6.
Grade 6.
Then from class 7 going all the way upwards, that is 844. 844 is more of theoretical. CBC is a learner based, where we identify your talent. And to me, I think we copy pasted it from the foreign countries and then pasted it to our country without actually doing our research well.
So you are saying that the CBC is a copy paste document.
Yes, it's a copy paste.
Okay, have you identified which country around the world that they copy from?
United States is a very good.
Why should it be United States? And Kenya is British oriented. Why not Great Britain but America?
Yeah,
My country, Liberia, should be the one talking about America because they were oriented from America.
I think it is called second colonization.
Okay, so you are saying that Kenya now is considered as a second colonization?
Then we can call it second colonization.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but they should have understood the fundamentals before the
Yeah, they would have
introduction of
understood
this copy and paste document called the CBC.
yes, yes, they would have done their research well. It is a very good curriculum. We know that in our learning institution, not everybody is gifted academic-wise. We have people who are good in football, artistic work, and that can be identified when
So
we are
those are
using
issues,
CBC.
those are some of the talent that are addressed by the CBC curriculum.
Right now,
So who identify the talents? It is the child, the student, the learners, the parents, school administrators, or the teacher.
it is the teacher and the parent. Those are the people who play a big role in identifying.
So if you say parents, it means that almost a career path. So parents are the one who identify their children career,
Uh,
learners career.
I say parents and the teachers because it is the parent and the teacher who spend a lot of the time with the kids. And maybe the parent would not have a technical know-how how to identify a talent. So to me, it would be a teacher who is able to identify this in a child. But a serious parent should also be able to identify at the early stage of growth and development that this child does best in this. Remember, in the growth psychology, when the child is growing, you look at how he or she is behaving, the kind of play she is playing or he is playing. If he is a kind of a kid who makes toys, whatever he is handling, you can be able to tell that this one has interest in this area. So it is the teacher and the parent to do so, which is fine. But come to school now. I have identified the talent. I don't have whatever it takes to nurture the talent. You brought me your son. I see your son has interest in singing. Do I have whatever it takes to nurture that talent? Those are kind of the infrastructural setup the government would have made sure that are made available in schools.
So one reason you think parents are resisting the curriculum could be the financial implementation or the financial implication. For example, if for an academic year, if parents are child for the class, I see class three, 40,000 Kenyan shillings, and the materials required in the processes for the parents to contribute to the child education, also of what they pay to the school could be close to another 15,000. Can you say that 40,000 plus the 15,000, it goes up to 55,000. Don't you think that because the financial burden that parents are faced with are the reason why they are rejecting the CBC? But if government could say that since your school is charging 40,000 Kenyan shillings, reduce it to 30,000 or to 25,000 Kenyan shillings. Do you think parents will appreciate the system?
The main challenge with the parents, especially in government school, education is free. We have free primary education. But where the parent feels the pinch is when requiring the materials for CBC. We know, and this is without a doubt, that most parents who take their children to the public schools live below poverty line. So when you require materials to train their children, you are sending their children back to them for extra. Take a subject like home science. When we want to do an experiment or project with a child, the materials we get them from the parent. That is just home science. Come to music. I have identified that your son or your daughter has interest in music. I want to nurture it. My friend, I will send your child back to you asking if you can afford an instrument like a guitar. Most parents don't. It becomes very expensive. Look at 844. It was theoretical. We never sent a student back to the parent to ask for something. The only thing we would do in class is theory. And then at the end of the day, test how much the student has retained. That was 844. But CBC, you have to provide for each and every requirement. If it is an experiment, we go back to the parent. I remember in one of the schools where my friend studies, in home science, they were going to bake some cakes. And students were sent to come with the requirements, starting from the baking flour and all those kind of things. So a parent cannot afford a meal. Will he or she afford baking flour just to take to school? So it is a burden to the parents.
So what do you recommend to stakeholders in the field of education?
I recommend to the stakeholders in the field of education, more so the Ministry of Education and the government at large. The government really needs to fund the Ministry of Education hugely to invest in CBC, so that if there are the computer labs, they are present in each and every school. If it is the trained personnel, let the teachers be trained. Some of the teachers, you meet them, ask them CBC, they don't even know what CBC is. And they're already teaching under the same curriculum. Look at the materials you need for CBC, including the textbooks. Some of the schools have no access to them. And the few who can afford CBC and do it properly are private schools. But that is where the high and the mighty take their kids, because they can finance. But the rest, we rely in public schools, and then we waste students in the name of helping them.
Is there anything finally maybe you want to say that we didn't ask?
In my closing remarks, I would say it pains me as a teacher, especially a teacher who is teaching professionally and also called, to see myself wasting a student because of somebody somewhere. By this I mean the Ministry of Education. I have to deal with CPC the same way I dealt with 844. It's not good. As a teacher from where I stand, it's not good. So I would really urge the stakeholders, being the government and the Ministry of Education, it is high time. It's never too late. We can still go back to our drawing boards, then implement it rightly. And now that we had already rolled it out, why don't we just finance it adequately? If we can just start from infrastructure, train the teachers. I remember last year around such a time, we had a CBC training, and only few schools would afford the training. It was a paid training, and you find that the school pays for one teacher, or a teacher you pay your own training fee. So I have already gone to school and I'm a teacher, and then you're asking me again to go and pay for another training. The government should just up its game and train the teachers for free. All the teachers, if at all we have to handle CBC. And matters infrastructure is not a matter of debate. It is a must now.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Never stop learning, because left never stop teaching. Welcome to Focus on Education on KG Flash with me, Ambassador Jimmy Josh. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Nairobi, Kenya time, and from 3 p.m. to to 4 p.m. Monrovia, Liberia town. This program looks into the comparative analysis and appreciation of the education systems of Liberia, Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world with my everyday guests.